Hey everyone, it's your girl Lola Rene'e, beauty therapist and creator of the Diamond Life brand. The brand that is here to help you be unapologetic about who you are, the strength you possess, and the light that you shine and reflect. Welcome to the Diamond Life. Oh my goodness, so thank you all so much for tuning into this video. I am so sorry it took so long to get some content back out here. I really was just having some issues with the cameras, with editing and everything. From the camera that I had everything on, it dropped from the top of my balcony onto my foyer floor and just splat. And that was it. That was everything. So I had to first suck it up because I was mad. There was about a good couple months worth of stuff on that camera, and I was just like, did that really just happen? Like, that just happened, you know? So I really just had to suck it up and get over it and start over again, guys. I had to start all over again. On top of that, still going through therapy on my hands and my arms and my shoulders. It's been painful. I've done so much testing. Just for those who, you know, do not know me personally, being in the beauty industry has taken a little bit of its toll on me. And I've been going through therapy and nerve testings and acupuncture and all sorts of things, and nothing seemed to really be working. The burning and the aching and all of that, it can be a lot sometimes. So yeah, it's just been a lot trying to get through everything, but you know what, to God be the glory, I'm here. So like I said, this is not a channel that is all about being single. I am not a single guru. I am just a confidently single person. And I was actually going to start my channel with being confident. That's what I wanted to start with. I love beauty inside and out, and our beauty starts with our confidence. And I really wanted to talk about that, and I felt like God was really tugging on my spirit and just saying, you know what, I really need you to talk to the singles out there. And so I created Grown Sexy and Confidently Single. And while that was such a great thing for me to do, and I thought it was over, I was like, I'm getting ready to move on now. Like, let's just go ahead and do this confidence thing now, right? And it was like, God was like, yeah, we're not done yet. There's more. And I was like, okay, gosh, like, and so I was just wondering, like, why do I gotta hit so hard on the single thing? And even with thinking about that, I'm like, why have I been single for so long? Because considering my background and my history, you know, all those things, like, I love dating. I love getting prettied up. I love meeting people. I love being out on the scene, you know, all those different things. And it was like, why was I single for so long? And, you know, if I could answer that question for myself, it would just be because I was making a bunch of poor choices. That's just it. As much as I just said I love all those things, it was, a lot of it was getting me in trouble, because I did like getting prettied up, but I didn't know how to separate sexy from sex. And it got me in trouble every time. I was actually in the sex industry. Everything that I did revolved around sex. My relationships with men, I don't care if we were just sitting at the table having breakfast. The first thing I'm thinking about is, he better know what he's doing when this is over. Like, the breakfast is nice, you know, thanks for treating me to breakfast, but make sure your D game is on point, you know? Like, I was that chick. I was not very confident. And here's the thing, just because you can find the sexiness and the sex appeal within yourself doesn't make you confident. A lot of times, and I will say, I'm so serious, a lot of times sex appeal is a cover-up for your lack of confidence. So I really needed to take some time to put things into perspective and realize that I was more than sex. I was more than pretty. I was more than eye candy. I was more than arm candy. And I really just needed to figure that out for myself. Like, what else do I bring to the table? Who am I outside of being sexy? My tight dresses and, showing off my beautiful legs and my flat stomach and my belly ring with the chandelier belly rings and my lower back tattoo. And, I don't call it a tramp stamp anymore. I just call it a lower back tattoo. I mentioned it one day. I was at a barber shop. I worked at a salon that was one side barbers, one side stylist. And I was talking to a lady about tattoos, and I told her, I said, I have a tramp stamp. And we both laughed it off. For us, it's a joke. And this guy, he said to me, he was probably something like 30, 31. And he said, my wife has a tattoo on her lower back and she's nobody's tramp. And it was complete silence. And from then on, I learned a lesson that you are what you speak. I'm nobody's tramp. So I do not have a tramp stamp. I have a lower back tattoo, which I also had pierced with a little diamond in it. So it was a lot going on that I was really just wanting to show off because I didn't feel confident enough, smart enough, just brave enough to be me outside of sex appeal. And I couldn't find anything else sexy about me except my body and the way I adorned it. So it was time for me to take a step back and really figure myself out. Learn how to put some clothes on this beautiful body that God gave me that was not to be shared with the entire world. It was to be shared with that one man that he had for me. The nice dresses and the clothes and the hair, the makeup, getting my nails done, the jewelry, all those things were additives to the beauty that was already here. It didn't make me beautiful. It complemented my beauty. And I had to realize that. If I could take everything off, I'm still a healed, whole woman without it. And this is why God still has me hitting on the single ministry right now, because there are a lot of you out there who need to know that once you take your wig off, when you take off your makeup, or for some of y'all, your fake up, you take off those lashes, you take your finger across them eyebrows. Don't worry, I'm right there with you, boo. We there together. When you take off the jewelry, when you take off the dress, when you take off the push-up bra, when you take off your girdle, when you take off your shaper, when you take off all of that stuff, can you really love who you see underneath? Is it possible for you to go to the store and still be that same confident woman that you were when you had all of this put together? Could you be okay if you went to the store and the same men who looked at you while you were all dressed up didn't look at you when you were dressed down? Could you be okay with that? And I'm gonna tell you how I became okay with that. I became okay with that because that showed me that you didn't like me anyway. You liked what I could put together, but you didn't like me. So I don't got a problem with saying I like me even if you don't like me. You just showed me who you were. Okay, so I don't have a problem with a man not looking at me. Okay, but that is where I've been. That is why I'm still doing this. That's a little bit about my story. And then I'm now going to share with you another story about how I became the other woman. And all of this ties in because it is a lack of confidence, because it was me not knowing who I was and needing that single moment for myself. Okay, now before we start, sidebar, I ain't telling nobody, go be single for 7 years or 14 years like me. I don't want you to go and do what I did. My story is mine. God led that, because let me tell you something. I did not want to be single for nobody's 14 years. I ain't asked for that. I'm just saying, I did not ask for that. God did that all on his own. And I was just on board with it. And he helped me to stay on board with it. Had he told me that was going to be my story, 14 years ago, I'd have been like, you know what, Lord, let's meet at the breakfast table. Let's talk, boo. Like, seriously, I got croissants, I got orange juice and apple juice. You can have your choice. I'll make you both if you want. You like coffee? What about eggs? You want them scrambled over easy, sunny side up? What do you want at this breakfast table? I'll go and buy it. I'll make it. I'll serve it. I'll prepare it, whatever you need. But can we talk about this 14-year situation? Like that's a big number, Jesus. I wasn't ready for that. I wasn't ready. But that's just it. You ain't ready for it. You're never ready for it because you like where you are. You like the fun, you like the frolic, you like the attention, you like all of that, but you're lacking something right now. You're not giving yourself the attention that you need because you're so looking for everyone else's attention. And you'll never get to who you are if you can't look past the distractions of everyone else's compliments, everyone else's likes and subscribes and follows. You need to be okay with yourself right where you are, even if they never did like, subscribe, or follow. Can you be okay with liking, subscribing, and following yourself by yourself on your own with nobody else's permission, no apologies to anyone? Just you being you. And I'm not talking about you securing your bag and being in your career or anything. No, let's take all of that off. I'm talking about you just being you. The beautiful human being that God created you to be. Can you just be okay with life as you being your greatest cheerleader? You telling yourself how great you are. You giving yourself the attagirls. You patting yourself on the back and saying, girl, you are rocking it today. With or without your makeup. With or without your fancy hair. With or without your fancy jewelry. Could you be okay with that? And don't just say yes because it sounds good. Really ask yourself that. And then if yes is really your answer, put yourself to the test. I ain't talking about no one day of taking selfies and putting them online and then going back to your life. I mean, really put yourself to the test and really sit in that. Like, really just put yourself in a place of not rocking none of this. Go to the store and all of that good stuff. Go do everything that you would do on a daily basis. Go run your errands. Go pick up your kids. Go pick up the food for dinner. Go do everything that you need to do without looking like all of this right here, and sit in that for a moment. Take note of the people who usually would look at you who ain't now. Take note of the way people are not complimenting you. Are you okay without all of that? And be honest with yourself, because you ain't doing me no favors by lying to me. I'm just a person on the screen, so you don't gotta lie to me. But what good is it doing to lie to yourself too? Why? So the story. It all ties in, right? All of this ties in. So let's go in with this story real quick, right? Picture it. 22 years old. Hot, gorgeous, doing all her own stuff. She's sexy. She's sexed. She's all of those things. Yes, I said it and I meant it. She was completely sexy and sexed. You couldn't tell me nothing. Nothing. And so, I was working at Home Depot at this time, the orange folks. What's up, y'all? And this man comes in and he's using the self-checkout. I'm talking to the manager, who's also one of my homegirls. And this man comes in. I didn't even notice him. And he was noticing me. And I was putting on my lip gloss. And it was the newest Victoria's Secret lip gloss at that time. This is like 2007, 2008. And I was putting my lip gloss on. It was Victoria's Secret's Lemonade. It was beautiful. And he says, excuse me, my receipt is stuck in the machine. I'm like, okay, so I go over. I'm laughing with her, but I ain't paying him no attention still. And I get his receipt out of the machine for him. And he looks at me and he goes, that's how you keep them looking so good. And I was like, huh? And he was like, that's how you keep them looking so good, your lips. I was like, oh. And I looked up and I was like, dang, this dude is fine. And he smiled at me and he winked and he walked away. And as he's walking away, I'm looking at him, he's looking at me, we smiling and everything, right? And I instantly just started feeling bothered. Like, how dare he just walk out without asking me for my number? I was also very full of myself, y'all. I was. I really believed that that man should have asked me for my phone number, and he didn't. So I was feeling some type of way. Anyways, about a week or so goes by. I go to break, and I'm now working in the garden department. And he is walking into the garden department as I'm walking back from break. And he was just so fine. I mean, he was so fine, right? And he sees me, I see him, and he was like 6'2", beautiful chocolate man with like that super bald head and like the goatee and beautiful brown eyes. I mean, beautiful brown eyes. They were not hazel, but they were just a really pretty, like a chestnut brown. They were beautiful. And he was creased up. He was nice. He was gorgeous. I'll call him, I'm trying to think of somebody's name that I don't know, y'all. We'll call him Damon. We'll call him Damon, y'all. I don't know nobody named Damon. So look, I'm sorry, baby. I done scared my dog. She's like, why would you do that to me? Sorry, baby. But Damon, yeah, he was like, my name is Damon. I'm like, all right. So we just went on about our, I love you so much. Yes, I do. Yeah. This is my pretty little baby. This is Lollipop. Say hi, Lolly. Say hi, Lolly. All right, that's enough, baby. I love you. So anyways, as time went on, we just continued to see each other. He would come to my job, buy me gifts, take me places. Yeah, it was expensive dinners. We would always go and get beautiful hotels on the beach or, you know, somewhere in Beverly Hills or whatever. We were just always doing something really fun, really good together. And one day, it was my birthday and my phone had broke. And my mom and dad had never met him before. I was very, very quiet, low key about the men that I dated. I didn't want my parents finding out or knowing who I was dating because they never had anything good to say about anyone. So I'm like, okay, you know what? I'm going to date and I just ain't going to say nothing to y'all. I'm going to date who I want to date and I'm just not going to let you meet him. Make up your own story. And that's always what they did. They made up their own stories. So anyway, my phone broke. He had no choice but to come up to my door and come pick me up. And my dad comes into my bedroom and he's like, hey, Damon's here. I walked downstairs. Matter of fact, I ran downstairs because I didn't want them all up in his face. So I run downstairs and I'm like, okay, let me hurry up and get down there before they start giving this man the third degree. Now, we're 17 years apart. I'm 22, he was 39. And, but he was so gorgeous, I didn't care. I was like, oh my gosh, this man is just, oh my gosh. So, I ran downstairs. I'm like, I see you met my parents. Come on, let's go. So we left, came back a couple of days later. And my mom was like, so, did y'all have fun? I was like, yeah, we did. We had a good time. And she was like, oh, I was like, okay, what's up? What was that? You know, the word shade wasn't out back then, but if it was, that would have been straight shade. I'm like, Mom, what's going on here? And I'm sorry, I keep rubbing my face because I have these little flyaways because my fan is on. It's hot in here, y'all. Anyway, I was like, what? And she was like, are you for real? And my dad was like, you cannot be that naive. And I was like, what? My mom was like, you can't see that that man is married. I was like, what do you mean? It's not like he's just walking around with a big old wedding ring screaming, I'm married. No, he's not. I'm like, why would he be married? This man spends days at a time with me. We're always going somewhere nice. Like, he ain't always using cash. He ain't always stopping at an ATM. Like, he pulls out his card like, what's up, you know? She was like, that man is married. She's like, that man has been on his job for over 25 years. He got houses. He's got cars. You don't think he's sharing his life with somebody? I said, and he fine? She said that, and he fine. I said, so what you're saying is I can't pull a man who's fine, who's been on his job for 25 plus years, who has houses and cars? And she's like, no, I'm not saying that at all. But what I'm saying is that one is married. And I was like, Mom, how can you say that? Like, what do you know about him? She's like, that man is married. I could tell that man is married. He sat here in front of me almost like he was nervous, like he knew I was going to be able to tell. He knew. That man is married. I was like, Mom, he is not married. And my dad was just like, you know what? Keep living. Just keep living. And he said it just like that, and he dropped it, right? So he keeps coming around. And first he was just coming to like regular little, like if we did something at the house, you know. And one day he came and he had on a ring, but he didn't have it on the, you know, ring finger. He had it on the right ring finger. And my mom was like, and I was like, what? And she said, and I looked down and I'm like, that does resemble a wedding ring. So I pulled him to the side and I'm like, let's talk. I said, bro, what's up with the ring? And he's like, what ring? I said, the ring that's on the other finger that looked like it should be on the other finger. You know? And he was like, if you look at this ring and you look at my necklace, it's a literal set. It comes together. It came like that. Same colors, same everything, same style. It all comes together. It's just a set. That's all. And he was so just, that's all about it, that it just made me feel like, well, he's not stuttering. He ain't scared or nothing about it. Maybe it is just a set. So silly me. I could have had a V8. I'll go back to my mama. He said it's a set. And she looking at me like my poor daughter. Oh my gosh. You're just my baby. And I'm just sitting there looking like, why? You know? And time goes on again. He's met my whole family now. My sister's graduation party, everybody was there. He met all the Bloods, all the Crips, everybody, you know, like both sides of the family. He met the saved folk, the unsaved folk, the folk that'll whoop you on right there where you stand, the people that'll pray for you when the people are whooping on you right where you stand. He met everybody, and everybody was able to see it but me. They were, you know, all my family, even my drunk uncle was looking at him sideways like, nigga, don't roll up on me like we cool like that. We not. And I just wasn't getting it. So, you know, I asked him one day, like, how come I've never been to your house? And what got to that is when I got back to work, one of my girlfriends, you know, he bought me a gift, and he brought me a gift, and he had it gift wrapped and everything, and it was like really pretty expensive perfume. And I'm like, oh my gosh, you know, loving it or whatever. And so my homegirl, she's married, she goes, so what does his house look like? And I was like, I don't know. And she's like, what do you mean you don't know? I was like, I don't know. I ain't never been to his house. We usually always go to really nice, expensive hotels. And she was like, nigga, y'all been dating for what, 3-4 months now? And you ain't got so much as a toothbrush at his house? You ain't never laid eyes on his house? I said, no. She was like, mm-mm. I was like, what? We just kicking it. We ain't together. Like, you know, if I was his girlfriend, then I'd be like, yo, what's up? But she was like, nah, any single man is more than happy to stop spending money and take you to his house. Something's up. And I, you know, again, I wasn't listening, not even to my friends. So I started to get a little curious. Why haven't I been to your house yet? And he was like, well, the reason that I haven't invited you to my house is because I had a fatal attraction situation and the girl threw bricks in my house. So I'm not real quick to bring people to my house because I have a little bit of a trust issue there. And so it's just taking me some time to bring you around, but please don't worry, you will get there. I just give me some time. And I was like, okay, that's understandable. You know, sometimes women can be catty like that, you know? Yeah. So, he never invited me to his house. And he would work until 6 in the morning. And so when he would get off work, he would call me and I would talk him home so he didn't fall asleep on the road. One particular morning, he called me, we cupcaking, I'm all, you know, excited. Now by this point, I'm feeling him like hard. I'm feeling him. By this time, 6-7 months in, we're good. And I'm just like, okay, we're in a relationship. And we've made that, you know, we've had that communication that we're together now. And so we're on the phone and we're talking and we're cupcaking and I'm laughing and I'm giggling and kikiing and carrying on, you know, and he's saying all the right things, of course. And he takes a sleeping pill. He just walks through the door, takes the sleeping pill, and he says, baby, I got something to tell you. And I'm all, what? Like, what you want to tell me? And he gets really quiet. I'm thinking he's just falling asleep, maybe. So he's real quiet. And I'm listening. Yeah, I'm really smiling and stuff like this. And he says, I'm married. Just like that, real soft. And I was like, what? And he was like, I'm married. And he said, me and my wife, we got this house together. And I just hung up the phone. And I'm instantly just thinking, what a freaking fool I look like. Just what a fool I look like to everyone, my family, my friends, who all of them were trying to tell me. My mom was trying to show me and tell me. My sister loved him just as much as I did. He gave her things as much as he gave me things. Took her places as much as he took me places. Oh my gosh, I look like a fool. I don't know what to say. I don't know what to do. I'm just like, this is not my life right now. And I start to cry. I get up, I'm going through my day. And every time I stop and get in my car, I just sit there like, he's married. Like I'm just in utter disbelief because he begged me for months to be in a relationship with him. And you're married? Really? So I didn't want to tell my mom and them, of course, because you ain't finna do I told you so in my face. That's not helping. And I told my sister, and I'm crying. Now, my sister and I, 5 years apart. God rest her beautiful soul. I love her so much and miss her so much. That was my rider right there. She was literally my rider. That's my baby. And she comes into my room and she sees me crying. And she goes, what's wrong? What's wrong? And I go, David is married. And she's like, what? Oh, this nigga finna get this and we finna go F him up and F that. Where he live? Where he live? We finna go over to the house and we finna go whoop, whoop, whoop. We finna do this, we finna do that, right? My sister don't need a reason when it comes to me. She don't even need the reason. If I say I'm finna go get this girl, she don't even need to know why. Forget it. We finna go get this girl. Now, I ain't never had to go get no girl because I ain't never been that chick before. But yeah, so later on that day, calls me. And he's like, hey, baby, how you doing? I was like, baby, are you for real? You're really doing that? And he was like, what do you mean? Well, he really didn't realize that he was talking in his sleep. He took the sleeping pill and was on his way to sleep. And his guilty conscience allowed him to say all that stuff about him being married and telling me the truth. So I was like, you're married. And he's like, what are you talking about? Baby, what do you mean? And I'm cussing and I'm mad. Don't effing play with me, nigga. You know you married. You know you told me. Lie to me. Lie to me. Go ahead and lie to me right now. And he's just like quiet. Like, oh snap. I'm busted. And I said, just bring me back all my just everything. I want you to bring back every hair clip that I accidentally left in your car. I want you to bring back my glasses, my shades. I want you to bring back my lip gloss. Bring me back my panties. Bring me everything that I ever gave to you, left for you. Give it all back. I want everything, right? So he's like, baby, please wait. I'm like, call me when you at my house so I can come pick up my stuff. Don't come to my door. So he finally calls me when he gets there. Baby, please just listen to me. Can you just listen to what I gotta say? I said, I don't got nothing to say to you. You lied to me. I have no words for you. Just give me my and let's go. So he reaches it out, like, you know, puts out this Nordstrom bag with all my stuff in it. And I reach for it and he pulls it back. And I was like, no, I just want my stuff. That's it. So he pulls it back out again. And I reached for it again and he grabbed my hand. And I was like, let me go. Effing let me go. So now my neighbors are looking and he's noticing. So he just lets me go. And I'm like, you know what? Eff it. Keep it all. I don't even care. Keep it. And he goes, no, please, baby, just come back. And I walked away, walked back in the house. And that's when I told my sister. So we get ready to leave because I just needed a moment outside the house so I could just cry and scream and everything without my mom and them coming upstairs like, what's going on? So we get ready to leave. My mom and them sitting in the front room, open the door. All my stuff is hanging on the doorknob. Really, dude? So my mom was like, what's that? I said, oh, it's just a gift that Damon left for me. And she was like, why didn't he just... I'm sorry, I'm laughing because I edited out just now the fact that I just said his real name instead of calling him by his alias. It was just weird. I'm like, I haven't told this story in so long, so it's like, whoo, I just said that. But I'm so glad this ain't live because he can be put out there right now. Anyway, I was like, this is a gift that Damon left for me. And she was like, why didn't he just knock? And I was like, I don't know. So I just grabbed it and me and my sister ran out the door. And so probably about a week or so later, I finally give him a chance to explain himself. And it came down to, oh, my wife and I, we split up. She ended up cheating on me. She got pregnant by our neighbor down the street. And she's no longer in the house. So yeah, we got the house together. We're no longer living together. We've split up and we're about to divorce. And I'm like, okay, when is the divorce going to be final? And so we're signing papers in November. That's exactly what he said to me. It's probably about August, September at this time. I said, okay, well, until then, we can't have sex. And he was like, fine, that's okay. If only I knew back then what I know today, I'd have known that wasn't gonna work. Because number one, I like sex too much. Number two, he's a dude. He'll say anything while he already knows the truth. And then number three, we got 17 years. He has 17 years on me. He already knows the game. I'm just getting here, I'm just learning it. So he's like, okay, that's fine. But of course, we did what we did. We had sex. And when the day came, the night before it was time for him to sign those papers, he said to me, I'm not signing these papers unless I know that we're going to be together, as in you're going to move in with me. And I was like, what? And he was like, I will give you everything that you want and everything that you need. You don't have to work. My cars are newer than yours. You could choose any of them. You don't have to pay any bills. You'll be the woman of the house. You can have an allowance. You can come and go as you please, do whatever it is that you want to do. He's just running down all these things, trying to sweeten the deal. And all I'm thinking is, Mr. and Mrs. Jones are my parents. I could die today. They can kill, bury, plot, unbury, resurrect me and re-kill me, bury, and plot me all over again. I am not about to do that. I want to live. So it's a no for me. I'm not doing that. And he was just like, I'm not signing these papers unless you agree to it. And I just began to cry because I'm like, why are you putting this on me? Like, your wife cheated on you and you're making me the only reason that you will go and sign those papers. Like, why do I have to be the one to make the hard choice for you? And we were at a park. It's pouring rain. It is November after all. Pouring rain. I remember this. It's like 9 o'clock at night. We're in a park talking, and he is in his car. I'm in mine. And I get out of my car to get into his car so that we could talk. And he says all this to me, and I'm just like, I can't do it. And he said, well, I can't either. So I get out crying, get back in my car, and I am just boo-hooing. He drives off, leaves me there for a quick sec, and then he turns back around and he's like, baby, please start driving. I don't want to leave you out here. Please start driving. And I'm just like, no, I don't want to drive. Like, you're doing this to me. Why are you doing this? And so he just sits there in his car while I sit there in my car. And I start my car up and I drive off, and he takes off behind me. So we both get on the freeway, you know, going home or whatever. He goes to his house, I go to my house, and we still continue to see each other because I was just really in love with him. And, you know, he was the only guy who ever really showed me such a great time and wanted more from me than just sex. He didn't just call me when he wanted to get laid. He told me that I was beautiful. He never told me, well, he told me I was sexy, but he told me I was beautiful more than I was sexy. He, aside, like baby was a name that he liked to call me, but beautiful was another name. It was either beautiful or it was baby. He never really used the word sexy when describing me. It was there, he saw it, but he always thought about how beautiful I was. When we were together in hotels, he would love to watch me get ready, love to watch me do my makeup and my hair and just sit there like, wow, it's so beautiful, like the way you do that. He loved the way I was when I didn't have makeup on. He didn't trip about that. As a matter of fact, he liked that more than my makeup. He would always say, you got such natural beauty. You don't need it. You're just beautiful, period. He loved my natural scent, like the smell of my shoulders, you know, things like that. And that to me was special, that he would love the simple things about me. So yeah, I'd fallen in love with him by this time when he's asking me to just be with him, and or he's not signing these papers. Anyways, yeah, about a week or so later, we got back to, you know, together, and we just continued on. And one night, you know, it wasn't the same. I will say that it never felt the same to me because I knew now that he was married. He took me one night to another house. I was asleep and he took me to his house. I didn't realize that. I thought he was taking me home because we had just had like a full day together and everything. I fell asleep in the car. I wake up and I'm like, where are we at? And he's like, my house. And I was like, I don't want to be here. I don't want to be here where your wife was, the house that you and your wife bought together. He said, this is not the house that my wife and I bought together. This is the house that I bought because my wife and I are still separated and we are still going to divorce. We're just not sure on exactly how that's going to work, but it is going to happen. So I gave her the house that we were living in, and I have another house. I go in, everything is so sparkling, brand new, and huge. He loves big, manly, kingly like furniture. So I'm just looking around at everything, and he's like, I bought this house with you in mind. I bought this house for us, and I want us to be together in this house. And I thought that maybe if I brought you here to show you everything that's afforded to you, you would change your mind and you would move in with me. I'm like, dude, my life still sounds so much better than a house full of furniture. No. So I was just like, yeah, that's not going to be a thing. I'm not moving in with you. And I was still upset with him for everything. And still, I loved him though. The only way we ended up breaking up is I ended up moving out of the state. God knew that the only way that I was going to leave that man was moving out of the state. And that's when the Washington experience happened, where God moved me to Washington and just completely changed my life. But not before. Let's take it back a step. I started working at a local beauty supply. And one day I see, okay, let me backtrack a little bit. He showed me pictures of his wife. She was a beautiful lady. And one of the things he didn't like about her was she was a heavy drinker, and you could see it in her face because she had like sunken in cheeks and her eyes were a bit sunken in, but she was still beautiful though. And he told me her name, told me where she worked. She was a very smart, educated woman. And so one day I'm working at the beauty supply and she walks in and I was like, oh my gosh, this is her. And I look outside, that's one of his cars. And I was like, whoa. I said, this is her. She walks right up to me and she says, girl, I love your hair. And I was like, oh. I said, thank you. I said, we sell this hair here. It's right here, you know. And she was like, okay. She was like, yeah, I need a new look. So this beauty supply, we literally had like a full-on seating. We're going to sit down and try these wigs on you, style them for you, flat iron them for you. I was nervous. I was like, what the heck is about to happen right now? So sitting down doing all this stuff, and she's like, girl, when I get to work, they gonna be like, boss lady, you look good. And I was like, oh girl, where you work at? And when she told me, I was like, oh my gosh. Asked her what her name was, it was her. I was like, oh my gosh, this is happening to my life right now. So she was like, girl, you gotta come kick it with me and my girls. You would be so cool. They would love you. I was like, oh, sure, one day, yeah. I'm like, oh my goodness, this is crazy. So she gets up, she leaves. And she goes back and she tells her husband, oh yeah, I met this young lady at the beauty supply. This beauty supply, her name is, and da-da-da. He hits me up immediately. We got to stop doing this. We got to stop doing this. I'm like, nigga, how many times did I try to walk away within this 3-year span and you wouldn't let me? Like, seriously. And I did. I tried to walk away so many times and he would always continue to pursue me. It was just, yeah, it was, there's a lot in between the story that I didn't tell because we ain't got time, but you know, I'm just kind of giving you the gist, but a lot happened in between then. One of the things that I really hated that really hurt me was he would wait until after we have sex to say something like, I'm going to work it out with my wife. I'm going to go to therapy with my wife. I can't do this to her. I really just can't hurt her this way. I'm like, wait a minute, but it's okay to hurt me. Okay. He was very insecure. You know, he would get very upset when I say hi to people, or, you know, like at that time, you know, I like both men and women. So if a woman walked by and she was interested and I knew she was interested and I was, you know, it was just like we would flirt, and he hated that because he would always say there's nothing worse than, the only thing worse than another man being able to take my woman from me is a woman being able to take my woman from me. And he had a problem with that. Well, anyways, aside from his wife getting pregnant and aside from her being a drunkard, he also didn't like the fact that she was always a partier, like major party. And I'm thinking by this time, 3 years in, he's been lying about all this too. Well, one night he calls me and she comes walking through the door and he's like, I gotta call you back. I'm like, okay. Well, he thought he hung up the phone and he didn't. So I'm sitting there listening, lightly trying not to breathe into the phone. And they start arguing. So I put my phone on mute, like, let's listen in. So I'm listening, and kid you not, everything that he said to me was the truth. He was sleeping on the couch. She was sleeping upstairs. He's like, I'm just really tired of having to come pick you up from your friend's house because they got to call me to let me know that you too drunk to the point of where you passed out. And now they need you off of their couch. So I got to come pick you up. I'm tired of that. And, he walks away and then I just hear her say, I did it for you. And he's like, what? And she's like, I did it for you. I had the abortion for you. And he was like, don't put that on me. Nobody told you to go get pregnant by the neighbor. And then you want to come back and tell me that you did it for me? You did that no, you did that for yourself. You did that for you. You did that for you. So now he's mad, she's mad. They're going off and everything. But everything that he said she did, she did. I was like, oh, he was telling the truth. Wow, how do you like that? So, there's a lot in between that all happened, but it took for God to get me out of the situation in order for the situation to end. And so that's just my little story, with being the other woman, how that happened. And I truly believe that if I just had more respect for myself, if I knew more about who I was, what I carried, just everything about how great I was, if I really understood just how great I was, I would never have stuck around for any of that. And it would have ended in that time frame. But I learned a lot from it. I did. But I tell you this story just to say, don't put yourself in the position of being the other woman, knowing that this man is married. And if you're in that situation today where you know that your man is married, he told you, or you suspected, go ahead and let that go. And I know it's easier said than done, but there is, number one, he ain't leaving his wife for you. And if he does leave her for you, you better believe that as soon as the next pretty face come along, you're history too. You're not the one that's going to stick around or be able to stick around. You're not the one that's going to be in his life. You're not his one. You're just the most recent one. That's it. Let that man go. You're greater than that. Now, like I said in the beginning, I'm not going to ask you to be single for 14 years the way that I was, but I will say this: be single for a year and do your soul work within the year. Do the work on yourself in that year so that you can find out who you are. Take the time to heal. Take the time to become. Take the time to be made whole. Take the time to find out who you are. Take the time to evolve. Take the time to be okay with who you're becoming, to the point of realizing that you're bringing someone else different into your next relationship. That way you're not bringing that stale person that you used to be with, that person back there in your past. You're not bringing them into your new relationships. Take the time to love on you first so that you can show someone else how to love you, because you truly are the very first example to this world of how to love you, or even how to like you, how to respect you. You have to give them a good example of that. And the only way to do that is to find out who you are and love that woman, embrace that woman. You have to do it for yourself first. Do your work. 1 year. 1 year. And I'm not sorry for saying a year. I'm not. Some of you feel like, oh, that's a long time. I thought it was a long time too. Right now we're talking about you, your well-being, We're talking about you loving yourself so much that you're not going to be a number 2 in anyone's life, or a number 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 in anyone's life. You love yourself enough to be number 1 in your life and number 1 in your man's life. You love yourself enough to realize that you're a wife right now, even though you don't have the title. You're someone's wife, not someone's side piece, not a jump off, not a pair of legs, not just another pretty face, not eye candy, not arm candy. You're someone's wife. And even if you don't want to be someone's wife, you sure as hell ain't none of those things that I just named off. You're a great woman, but you got to see that for yourself. I can sit here and say it until I'm blue in the face, but until you take the time to do what you need to do for you, you're never going to know it. So I have a series that is coming out about being single for 1 year. 1 year, and I'm going to help you through that 1 year, what that looks like for you, what you need to be doing within that 1 year, okay? And I'm going to walk with you through that moment. So get ready. Prep your mind for it. Pray about it. If you need a prayer partner, listen, if you need a prayer partner, hit me up in the messages or in the comments. Let me know. I am here for the prayer, babe. I am so here for it. Whatever it is you need. If you want to hit me up in the messages and leave your phone number, we can talk. I don't have a problem with being that person that you need right now. God has me hitting on these things right now for a reason. Some people need help, and it goes beyond a quick 10-minute video. You need someone to be there with you. Let me be your sister in Christ who walks with you through this. Let me be that person who's experienced enough to walk with you through this, to help you through this. You need the single moment. And here's the thing, it's not about just being single and getting up in the morning and punching the clock and going to work and coming home and making the meals and going to bed and doing it all over again and going to church and coming on home. And no, it's more than that. There's work to be done in your single season. So let's go and do the work that needs to be done in this season in order for you to become the woman that you need to become for yourself, for your children, those who are watching you that you are an example to. Let me help you become who you need to be for them and for yourself. All right, so I'm going to end it right here, you all. That's just my story about me being the other woman and how my lack of confidence and my lack of self-awareness, my lack of love for myself played into that. And just letting you all know too that it has nothing to do about how much this man can give you. He can give you all the things. He can say all the things. It has to be more than things said and things given. It's more than that. It's about you right now. It's about you. Make your single journey about you. Unapologetically. Strengthening you, uplifting you, encouraging you, believing in you. I'm going to end it here for real this time. I mean it. I'm going to end it right here. Okay, and so if you all would just do me a favor, be encouraged today that you may go out and encourage someone else. I promise you, you never know who's going through something and they need your encouragement. And if you're looking for a few good ways to encourage someone, did you know that your eye contact, your smile, your hello is a great way to encourage someone? Because you never know who felt like they were not seen today, and you came along and did the job of noticing them and giving them the gift of your attention. You never know who you're changing the narrative for, who may have the narrative of, why am I even here? Why? I could just go ahead and off myself now. Nobody will ever know it. But you came along and you smiled, said hello, and looked at them. That right there can help someone feel like maybe, just maybe today, I'll live. I'll keep going. It costs you absolutely nothing to give the gift of your attention to someone who might not otherwise get it. Encourage someone today. All right? Listen, you all, I love you so much, and there's absolutely nothing you could do about it. You have a great day. Make it beautiful on purpose. Blessings. Mwah.